Okay.
Are you ready?
Mhm.
All right, we'll call the meeting to order.
Motion to reopen.
Or do I need a motion to come back into regular session at 8:40? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Eric made the motion, Jason second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, it's unanimous, carried and approved. Gene, you are up, sir.
Okay,
Wait,
I handed out
Gene?
a sheet this evening to the board members and to those about some transfers I would like to motion. Cover some overexpended accounts that currently overexpended or some that I think will be overexpended.
Okay.
You gave one to me, Gene?
You were out in your office.
Oh, it's in my
I didn't know where to lay it up
Okay.
there.
Anyways. Okay, so.
If you
We're
want,
not-
you can have my copy after.
What?
you can-
Yeah, I can get it from my office afterward, that's fine.
Okay.
I can print off another one.
All right, so need a motion for to transfer $9,000 from. Is this all coming from contingent?
Only the general. The other ones are coming from, different accounts and water.
All right, so for water, need a motion to transfer $9,000 from one account to. What did you say?
What it says from the BAN interest to
To
engineering.
engineering expense, and then $592 from distribution personal to compensation. Do we need to do this separately, or can they all be together?
Yeah,
Okay, and then sewer, $355 from sanitary sewers personnel services to compensation. And then for general, $1,420 to compensation, $500 to youth expense, $8,000 to street personnel services, and $7,500 to property expense from the contingent account. Do I have a motion?
Is that all listed on your form?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'll move.
And do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It is unanimous, carried and approved.
I just have a question.
Mhm.
Are all these transfers going to have an impact on ending balance?
These are covered from accounts that overdrawn or, not overdrawn, but overspent, or I anticipate, like the street personnel. There's still several payrolls in the month of May, so I'm anticipating that the 8,000 hopefully will cover that.
And the youth expense was the one
For
from
the
before,
500
right?
from the, that's all I really have this evening, is just my transfer.
Quick question for you regarding what Jeff spoke about, regarding, would it be too difficult to obtain a, what do we say, short-term?
BAN,
A BAN.
anticipation note. No, I mean, you need an attorney to draw it up, but no, there shouldn't be any problem in getting something like that. I can't tell you what the interest rate would be.
Beginning of the year, do we even need it?
Pardon?
Beginning of the year with taxes due to the,
Well, you're paying waters.
yeah, I know, but
I mean, we can try and transfer it from another account depending how much you're talking about.
and it's gonna be short term. If it's short term, when will we start getting reimbursement anyways?
Depending on how long.
For us, it's probably
Can you
time
hand that to Rose, please?
Yeah.
with taxes being due. I know everyone.
Thank you.
We have to revenue.
Yeah, these are just the
Yep,
projects that you discussed that Gene said would be better off to do this year than to do next year.
didn't we put 15,000 extra in water just for next year's budget for just, for the start of Kelly Summit and other stuff though too?
Now, you really gotta remember though, in water and stuff, you make a budget, but you give payments 4 times a year, basically.
Yeah.
So, where in taxes, you get the big majority of that up front.
All I'm saying is take it out of bond anticipation loan, even if it's at 1.5 or 2%, you're gonna pay interest. And even a couple $100,000 at 1.5% for a couple, 3 months, it's gonna cost you money. So if we're getting all this in taxes in June, then we should be financially in good shape to be able to handle for a short period, transferring some funds to cover those expenses. Until we get in the system where we get the reimbursement.
Which I'm assuming Jeff or Jake should be able to give us a cash flow idea.
Right. Yeah. That's part of the paperwork.
Is Gene gonna be here for that?
Or for the,
You're able to attend the work session on
Is
the
that,
23rd.
3rd?
as far as I know, I should be able to.
Okay. Just to discuss more of that. Does anybody have any questions for Gene?
Yeah, actually probably Gene and Eric. Spoke to Melissa tonight with the youth council. She said something about maybe having to extend another hour if she can get it approved for these, for the lunches, the free lunches or whatever down there. But she didn't know how that would affect the lifeguards and the extra hour, like, will that be in the budget for the youth? I don't know how much, I mean, with,
We'd have to look at the budget for youth.
plus you're gonna have to talk to Skyline or,
well, I think she said she's already spoken to Dale or whoever down there, but
okay.
they seem to be okay with it, but she just didn't know, you know, on our end if we could cover that extra hour.
What we'd have to do is look at the budget and see what was appropriated for that category.
Okay.
And then have her calculate any hours.
She's saying lunch every day, 4 days a week.
Yeah, I guess she's spoken to whoever, she said, I don't know a lot about the process of free lunch, but whoever handles that, she's already talked to them, and they seem to be on board with it.
Are they down there 4 days a week though? They're not down there 4 days.
Sure, if it was, I think it's three.
It was 3 last
Wasn't
year.
she talking 4 this year?
Yeah, that's something that hasn't been
We haven't
completed. Say if it's gonna go for 3 or 4 days, right? It's too
You'd have to calculate out the number of hours she's talking, time, whatever they're getting paid, and see if you're gonna have fun. And without, if she can tell us that information, we can do that.
Yeah, I'll give her and see what she says.
Alright, any other questions for Gene? Rose, is there anything else down the road that we would need to speak with Gene regarding?
Possibly the insurance proposal.
Okay, let's go to that. Insurance proposal. Alright, everybody has their copy from Graves. And then also we have Mr. Ortiz here. Alright, so regarding everything for the insurance proposal through Graves, do you have yours as well, sir?
I do.
Okay.
I do have some handouts for you guys, and then, so yes,
Okay.
I do.
So first off, we have Graves, same coverages, premium through them, if we elect to go renew with them, would be going down a couple $100. Went from $20,343.82 to $19,941.82.
That's if we decline the terrorism.
That's if we, okay,
Last year was 20,517.
okay, so did we have terrorism before?
No, we usually
No,
decline
We
it.
always decline it, okay. Okay, so yeah, it did go down $500, $560. Alright, and Mr. Ortiz?
Yes. I'm sorry, one more time, your final number, what that was, 19,000?
$941.82.
Well, thank you for allowing us to review and quote your insurance needs. It's basically an Excel spreadsheet. We work with 4 different carriers, Trident, Argonaut being one of them, that is your current incumbent agency carrier. We additionally work with HCC, which is Houston Casualty Company, and we also work with Gladfelter Public Practice, and we also work with NYMAR. So unfortunately, due to the time frame, NYMAR was unable to offer a quote. So if you look all the way on the right-hand column, that's basically their standard package. Ideally, if we did still want to entertain them and get them the remaining information, they would offer a proposal. So we were able to get proposals for you to compare against Trident. We have one from HCC, which is Houston Casualty Company, and the other one is from Gladfelter. The second column over HCC, I'll start with them. Going straight down, they are pretty much pound for pound the same as Trident. The program with HCC is a little better. Trident also has in their policy what's called silo limits. Basically, long story short, where if you take your top two line items, your general liability occurrence limit and your general limit aggregate, God forbid there's a loss in the town, the first thing you're gonna hit is that $1 million occurrence limit. If the damage or the physical injuries exceed that, then what kicks into place would go up to your aggregate, which is what you see as your $3 million number. But in between their HCC offers a silo limit, which is their excess liability coverage program, where another $1 million kicks in on top of each one of these before you hit your aggregate. So you actually get 1 million, 1 million, 3 million. A little confusing, I know. But going straight down, we quoted your property values, pound for pound, for what they're currently carried, all the way down the line. And the only basic differences between HCC and Trident are they offer the silo coverage. The other thing is Trident, in their employee liabilities coverage, if you look in part 2 of your general liability section, page 23, Trident has a clause in there under their exclusions where anything they deem a malicious act, they do not have to pay for it. So our other 3 carriers, I always call it out because our other 3 carriers do not include that clause. And it's whatever Trident deems to be a malicious act that they could deny you possible coverage. So we always point that out to everybody. But if you flip over to the second page, HCC's total premium, if you do not take the TRIA coverage as you have indicated you don't, would be $17,787.79 a year. So you're getting more coverage, you're getting that additional $1 million limit on each one, and you're saving yourself approximately $2,000.
And if I could add the auto, there are a few differences.
Yes, the only difference in the auto is they offer, if you go to the auto section and look, it's probably the 4th line item up in that second column, that supplementary underinsured motorist, they offer a $350,000 limit. And for you folks, if anybody wants, I can explain what the supplementary underinsured motorist is. Yes, no?
What does the mutual aid cover? Because I see under HCC, they offer nothing.
Yes,
Or on the other
mutual
two.
aid covers if you share services. Say John calls up Dale Blood over in Napoleon and says, hey, bring over your grader and 3 dump trucks and you're gonna help me backfill this road. God forbid something goes wrong, they're dumping a load, that thing turns over and twists that dump truck up. Well, you have up to $1 million worth of coverage for that mutual aid purpose. So that's what that would come into
So
play.
HCC does not offer that?
Correct, they don't offer, it would be an additional $1 you could add to the premium for that.
Because that's something you would need, isn't it?
That would be very good,
Right.
because
And
this
it's-
intermunicipal agreement thing is really
Right.
something
Right.
getting better now.
Right, and Dakota, do you have there, you wanna look through this book, just make sure I'm not wrong, and it is in there? Now, Gladfelter, that would be the 3rd one over. Gladfelter, as you go down the line, Gladfelter is gonna give you way more coverage on just about every line item. They have a $3 million standard aggregate on 95% of their line items. Right from your general liability down into your public officials liability, your excess liability would be the $3 million. Law enforcement liability is $3 million, that's a big one. And the big thing with Gladfelter is cyber liability. They include it in their package. None of the other carriers do, some of the other carriers don't even currently have it. Cyber liability, and we see this now as we're getting more and more municipalities, you guys have court, the officers write tickets, they come in, you're linked into the DMV state computers, if I'm not mistaken, for you handle and you process your stuff. You have bookkeeping, you have accounting, and we even have a little scary sheet we can give you from Gladfelter about some of the municipalities they've worked with that didn't have cyber liability. One gentleman, I believe, was the town's accountant. He left a laptop in the car, the laptop got stolen, contained the election information for 25,000 of the registered voters on there, it was hacked. So nowadays, cyber liability obviously is a big thing, and Gladfelter does include that in their coverage.
This gives you an idea of, what it's covering. I think I only made one for the board members, I apologize.
So a couple of the other things, as we were going through this quoting process, we drove around town, we looked at all the town's owned buildings, all the town's properties, and there was a couple things we highly would recommend, no matter what insurance carrier you go with, is your buildings, what valuation and dollar values you're carrying on them. Like I was speaking to Mr. Wolf earlier about over at your sewage treatment plant, you've got 2 garages and a small type doghouse that houses some equipment. In your current policy, I believe you have $86,000 worth of coverage on those 3 structures, which you could rebuild 2 two-car garages and a doghouse for well under $50,000. And John had indicated he's probably got close to 100 king equipment in there. And I believe your current policy only has about $57,000 worth of equipment coverage for that specific location. And that's just one. So one of the big things we always recommend is that you guys do sit down with whatever agent you are working with, go through your properties, go through your business personal property, and make it realistic, you know? Because like John's tools are gonna depreciate. He had a nice steel chainsaw 6 years ago, he paid $800 for it, it may only be worth $200 now. So you wanna always change that valuation, and we work with the town down the road in the pole line. Dale Blood's the highway superintendent. You know, we go to Dale, what'd you do this year? What'd you get? Change our vehicle. Any buildings go up, go down, you guys change anything? And then we fix the policy and endorse them accordingly. So that way, you're always up to date, you're always covered with the best possible coverage at the best possible price. So in closing, the numbers speak for themselves. HCC's number right there without the trio is that 17,787.79. And Gladfelter's, yes, you are getting a lot more coverage. You are going to get the $3 million limits. You would get the cyber liability, which is huge nowadays to a lot of municipalities, but you're going to pay more, so it would obviously be $19,450
And with regards to the mutual aid, we can go back and discuss adding that on and
to HCC.
find.
Or they may just disclose that, yeah, it's in there, it's we keep in a different section. So.
How'd you get a quote from Trident if Grays is our broker of record?
We did not. That number from Trident was your expiring premium from last year.
Okay.
So we, up until we sat here 5 minutes ago and he spit out 19,000 and change. We had, you know, we only had it based off of last year's numbers. So once an agency, because that question came up when we asked a quote about locking other agencies out.
Right.
The only way you can lock an agency out is if you submit a total package to a carrier. Say you were Gladfelter and I submitted this total package to you, then, you know, if Dakota came along and said, hey, Gladfelter, quote this for us, they'd say, well, we're already working with an agency on that. So I don't know who else Gray quotes you against or if that quote's from Trident, but, so that was the only one we did not discuss this policy with.
Yes, this is true.
That's what we have through Grace. Yeah. So regarding with HCC, there's several that come with Trident. HCC doesn't offer, such as completed operations aggregate.
They do. Those are all standard in there. Those are all standard limits, but this sheet was getting generated at 5:45 this evening. It
We
appears
just
we
got
did.
our quote.
Yes, do you actually have the Trident quote?
I
Or the,
have both HCC and.
yes, man? This is the actual HCC quote itself. And as you go down through there, that's the thing that you have on there. So, and then once you get into the policy language, that's where they're gonna break in all your sub-limits. So that's where they start getting in like crime. Like, that was another thing. Trident's crime policy, I believe they give you $100,000 for employee dishonesty, but that's it. And I believe if you look at this one, you'll see that they have theft on and off the premises. This one's bad. And then it's
100,000.
yeah, forgery or alterations. See, so they give you all these additional limits as well. So it's when you actually get into the, I was trying to keep it as simple as possible by not flooding you guys with a bunch of numbers that get a little confusing after a while. But that's why we did actually bring the actual hard copy proposals for each.
Anybody else want to look at HCC's policy?
And then the other big difference, Gladfelter, their law enforcement liability actually gives you a 1 million, 3 million aggregate. Your current policy is only a 1 million, 1 million.
Gene, which one was yours, or was it that you brought up, and is that mutual aid?
Yeah, mutual aid.
This one.
Because with John having other people coming in, that's something
You
definitely
have to have.
I would recommend.
Vice versa, yeah.
Yes.
No,
Pardon?
I guess they're covers.
Yeah, right.
Do you know how much mutual aid would increase the policy?
Maybe
We
not,
could-
but
we can definitely find
get it
out.
to you by tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I would know by 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I would know. And they may tell me, no, if you actually look in the policy, definitions go under liability section 2.1, it's all included, because sometimes that's how they do it. Like in Gladfelter's policy, I'll let you look at this one next. They call it out, it was in a strange spot as well. You don't have to remember where, did you go to?
Apologize, Nicole.
And it actually stands out, so I'll know it as soon as I see it.
And where is HCC located?
HCC is actually located, they have an office in Syracuse, they're based out of Houston, their original headquarters. They insure a little over 3,000 municipalities, they have their own in-house legal team, as Gladfelter, and their own in-house claims team. Everything is done in-house. Cyber liability is $1 million. We'll check this after, see if I missed mutual aid. Is that
What are
probably
your
good?
guys' thoughts regarding all of this?
Take it in all numbers,
Huh?
take it in all numbers.
When we're talking $2,100 savings, that's quite substantial, but my concern though is the mutual aid, how much is that gonna impact?
My best guess, off the record, I would say a couple $100. Put it this way, because Gladfelter's includes it and doesn't even call it a line item for it, I can't guarantee it's not already in FCC's. So it very well may be.
I'd be absolutely for HCC if we knew what we were talking about totally with mutual aid.
And we are gonna get you that answer, and I may even step out and call my friend over there and see if I can get him to pick up his phone.
Yeah, do you wanna do that and I will?
Yes, you wanna pull up the public, or mutual aid?
Dan, I would also, under like Trident and HCC, I would look at that cyber liability. Because Rose, you dial into somebody or into your computer when they do software upgrades for water and sewer and stuff?
Yeah, flexibility connects to my computer.
So, I would probably look into,
Didn't you say the cyber liability for HCC was $1 million?
Pardon?
Yes, cyber liability comes standard in Gladfelter's, but now the HC section.
and it says not included.
So we would have to request to add that.
At least get a quote and see how much it is.
Right.
Just out of curiosity, like you said, the building's on the sewer plant,
I
$60,000 in the building's down there.
I am doing it right now, I actually got 2 questions for you.
Could we get a better quote and a better price if they got things done up to date, what buildings are worth, and what we have for equipment and prices on equipment?
Okay, and is $2 million the same as the others?
You would think.
I mean, the equipment part I can handle, as far as is the value of a building, how much it costs, that's out of my hands, and I don't even know who you begin to ask to put
Or
down.
that maybe.
Are the buildings based upon replacement costs or?
Yes, they are.
They
And
do
we
not.
took them off your current policy. That was the values we went with. We didn't, typically we would do like a replacement cost estimator, plug in, you know, the size value,
Right, I think you're
the
right.
material that it's made with and so forth.
Do you know, does HCC, do all the providers offer cybersecurity?
I don't believe they do, cyber,
Mutual aid is included, is $1 million, they got HCC. What was the next question?
cyber liability.
Oh, that's what we're discussing right now, is the cyber liability. Let me wrap up with him and I'll give you the response. Okay.
So that's included.
Think you're gonna need a roadside service?
Well,
Towing a vehicle?
we already have. That'd be great.
Should be covered by GM, but that's another story.
Sorry about that, that's good service though.
I,
I got them at home. So they do include the $1 million mutual aid, it's the same thing, he said that's standard in their policy as well. However, they do not offer cyber. He said, we don't offer it, he knows Trident doesn't offer it, Trident doesn't offer it, Nymar doesn't offer it, we know Gladfelter does offer it. And Gladfelter does clearly call it out in their proposal as a line item, I believe. So, and I don't know what the price of that was. And what you get for the one in Gladfelter is you get $1 million worth of liability. Who did I leave the Gladfelter proposal with?
You got HCC right here.
It's a $1 million
Give it
limit. I have the glad.
Give it back.
Oh, you got the Gladfelter? Thank you. Yeah.
I would have printed one for everyone, but it's 30-some pages.
Yeah. I know, we thought about printing everyone out, but we like things a little more than that. So the cyber liability that they do offer,
Gladfelter also makes paper that I buy, so they probably would appreciate it for it.
oh, do they? You know, yeah. They also do schools, and they do workers' comp as well, but that's another subject for another day. What am I looking for? Cyber liability.
Can I get the report up on this one here? We're looking for a premium dollar.
Yes. Do you have it already broken out there?
Well, I have the search.
Do you know what employer's non-ownership liability?
Yes.
So Trident's the only one that has that included, the other three do not?
No, and I'm glad you brought that up, because employers' practices liability and public officials liability, they have one set limit for both in Trident. If you look, I think you have a $1 million limit on that, where with what HCC does is you actually have separate limits. If you go to, here's your employment practice and professional officers liability. So it's $1 million occurrence with $1 million ag, it's got a 5K deductible, and then it has the claims retro date to match your other one. The consent to settle is included, in other words, somebody comes and they sue you. In other words, HCC can go settle with them and not fight a frivolous lawsuit and spend their money. So they also have non-monetary damages, $10,000 per suit, $5,000 or $50,000 per policy, and back wages, just in case you end up with a wrongful termination, something to that effect, you do have that coverage as well. So that is in there.
And the cyber liability is included in the premium, it's not a separate.
So they don't even break out a separate line item for it.
Okay, so that is included.
And, yes, in Gladfelter.
In Gladfelter?
In Gladfelter. HCC does not offer.
No one else offers the cyber liability.
Oh, no, I meant the,
The premium dollar is included, yes, in the cyber liability for that.
You were talking about the hired.
the non-ownership liability,
The hired and non-owned auto, is that,
the employer's non-ownership liability,
Which one are you looking at?
the very bottom, that's what we just went over. right?
Oh, yes, that's one, yeah, employment liability practices and professional.
And what about the hired auto liability, because that's something that the rest have included and HCC doesn't have anything listed.
Control that up.
you
Which
have,
one is that?
no,
Okay,
you
he's
have
got
that
it right
one.
there.
I don't have that one.
Too much paper. This is HCC.
If you'd like, I can go to
What is OCP, anybody know?
Owners and contractors protection.
Okay, and since we have a huge project going on, is that included as well?
Yes, and HCC, that is included. Gladfelter offers it as an ad,
I believe it's
$250, and they'll give you the same 1 million, 3 million aggregate.
Okay,
So
do you know what it is with HCC?
that's the 1 million, 1 million, the same as the aggregate, but,
Okay, so Trident's 1 and 2 and HCC is 1
gonna
and
be
1.
1, 1, and 2, because you get that silo coverage. What they call silo coverage, again, it's like, if this is your general liability limit, okay, and you have a major incident happens, that dump truck goes down the ravine, it's $5 million. Well, that $1 million occurrence limit kicks in. Then their silo limit, which is the excess liability, kicks in on top of that million before your $2 million aggregate kicks in. So you end up with an extra $1 million worth of coverage is what you get. And the reason why HCC does this is they put that like in Trident's, if you speak to Trident and ask them about their excess liability, they have that same $1 million limit that's listed on there, but that applies to every one of these. Where HCC, that $1 million limit, applies to each one individually. So instead of you having $1 million to go over 6 coverages, you have $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million, $1 million. That sits over each one of them. They call it a silo coverage. It's like stacking limits almost, but we don't say that word. But that's the easiest way to explain it to you.
And the hired auto liability?
Hired auto liability should be with the 1 million. Hired and non-known automotive liability has personal injury protection, including additional personal injury protection of 100,000, the work loss of 2,000, the death benefit of 3,000. Those are regular DCC.
Insurance.
Hired and non-known liability.
Yes, Jesus.
There's your personal injury protection, there's personal work loss, death benefit, your
Hey,
old,
my blood pressure.
your wages if somebody gets hurt. The deductibles are all the same.
Turn it around.
Alright, so like with NYMER, that's $1 million, what, do you know what we stand total with HCC regarding all of it, or is that just how?
This is HCC.
Right. Oh, what, all that's broken down to cover hired auto liability?
No, this is your limit. When you have that limit, your $1 million limit,
Yeah,
there's your hired non-known auto. So if you're in, John rents a dump truck and he's driving a dump truck that's you guys hired or non-known, you get that same $1 million limit. It's the same as whether it's your vehicle or a hired or
so
non-known
it's still
vehicle.
subject to the $1 million liability?
You got it, yes.
Okay, okay. Well, then regarding all that, I don't see, I think HCC offers a, we're getting more for
You are
$2,000
getting more for less. And if you want even more for roughly what you're paying, then you can look at Gladfelter with the cyber liability. I mean, Gladfelter is a pricier policy. It's $1,000 and change more than the other one. What are you getting more? You're getting some higher limits. You're getting a $3 million ag where you get the $2 million everywhere else, and you would get the cyber. Or, you know, you save the constituents as much as you can. You still get more coverage than you currently have, and you save a couple $1,000. So again, it's, you guys know what your exposures are. You know what your data breach exposures. You know how much Rose is communicating with Albany, or your police department's communicating with Albany. These are things we just guess at. So we just try to give you as much information to educate you as you can, and ultimately you guys decide what exposures you really have.
Do you know how come Gladfelter is the only one that offers the cyber liability, especially in today's times for municipalities, and none of the other carriers do? Try to
Here, I can only tell you what HCC just told me directly when I just spoke to Gerard from HCC. He said when they look at it, he said it's not, because what Gladfelter is giving you is $1 million, I believe, per occurrence, and then there are some underlying coverages. You know, next time I'm tagging this thing. The other thing they give you is, where is it? Get closer.
And Gladfelter just rolled that out, I believe.
Last
2
year,
years ago.
Napoleon was the first one we gave it to, was Melissa Kitchen folks on the street there. Way too much paper. Exactly. Okay, here's what they give you. They give you $1 million for each electric information security event. So somebody hacks Rose's computer and steals whatever was going on that day. you're covered up to $1 million for each event. They have a cyber liability retroactive date where, say you expose an issue now that happened from that date forward, that will still be included, that's your claims made retro date. The other thing they give you is crisis management. They're gonna give you 50 grand for each event. They're gonna give you privacy crisis management. If God forbid somebody's driver's license, social security got out, they're gonna help alleviate all that. They're gonna spend 50 grand doing that. And the same thing with your progression, and there is no deductible on it. So that's actually what that gives you. HCC and company, they don't feel they can offer that competitively enough to make it worthwhile to put it in every policy they currently write, so they don't. I can't speak why Argonaut and Trident don't. I will ask because we are working with them and Neymar. So.
Alright, so I would say based on all the information provided, I would go with HCC for the savings and
Let's see if that's all right.
Do they- yeah,
essentially
they
same
want
coverage
this
and we're
one?
getting $2,000. Yeah, $2,100 less. Alright, so then do we just need to make a motion then just to authorize myself just to go ahead and sign the contract? Is that correct?
That's the one she gave.
That's Gladfelter. That's cyber liability. Want to keep that one? That's Gladfelter.
If you'd like to keep the Gladfelter.
Yeah, you can keep the Gladfelter proposal if you'd like for future records, or unless you don't want the T's like, no, we don't need another 30 sheets. I got enough paper running around here.
No, got enough headaches running around here.
Alright, so,
So you want to start the insurance with Glatfelter and authorize the mayor to
no,
sign?
HCC.
Oh, I'm sorry, HCC.
Cause
Thank you.
HCC is 17,787.79.
HCC and authorize the mayor to sign.
This total.
Do any other municipalities utilize HCC in our?
As a matter of fact, there's about to be another one. 2 weeks?
Oh, we can't be-
Well, we can't disclose that information, but yes. I gotta tell you, the primary ones that we work with and that we have great rapport with are the HCC and the Gladfelter. Gladfelter was one of the first ones we partnered up with. We've had great experience with them. You know, HCC, same way. They're quick to respond to us. To me, it's, when I need you, what do I get from you?
We haven't had any claims go through HCC yet, we have had them go through Gladfelter. So we can't speak as far as HCC's
Claim
claims.
service, right.
Claim service with Gladfelter has been extraordinary, I can tell you that. We've had two, and they went very smooth.
Yes.
And there weren't increases on the premium and the renewals.
Right.
That's a big thing, and
Yes, because another municipality we insured on the road here, they had a loss. There was a couple of losses they had, and, you know, and it just so happened that it worked out really well for them, so. I mean, some things we just can't divulge, but,
Right.
But I can just tell you that the service you get when you talk to the people sometimes is worth more because when you need them. I mean, obviously you guys know.
So with being, if we choose to go through you, you'd be our broker.
Correct.
Will you, I mean, Hannah has been exceptionally well at working with Rose and with, you know, if we have any issues, it gets
We're here.
expedited. I
Absolutely.
wanna make sure that we have that same service commitment and that
Absolutely.
if HCC is a terrible, say we have a claim and it's a terrible,
I'd move you in a heartbeat.
that's
I
what we
mean,
pride ourselves in.
We're not an insurance agency, we're a brokerage. Shield Financial LLC, we're a brokerage. We work for our clients. We don't work for Allstate, we don't work for Geico, we don't work for HCC, we work for you guys. So when we write a client, they're clients, not customers, because we want you for life, you're our number one priority. Like Napoleon, we hit the town board meetings. North Counties, we write the town of North Counties Blue Cross Blue Shield policy, we write their workers' compensation policies. So we're at the board meetings. We love to come to the board meetings because this is where
you're
we learn
that
that.
you understand that.
Well, you know, to us, it's a great night out, you know, it's a relief from being in the office all day.
Couple more meetings of ours, you might hear me saying that.
You know?
You'd be surprised, there's.
But all kidding aside, what you really get to see is what's actually going on, because, now there's a couple other things I'd also like to mention, just as a spectator here tonight, like pertaining to your sober home. Is she an LLC, a PLC? Does she carry liability insurance? Is she gonna name the town an additional insured? Do you guys have a hold harmless with her? Do you guys use hold harmless? Do you have indemnification agreements? I mean, you know, I'm working with a town supervisor right now where their recreation league, this started because he called me up the night at 8 o'clock and said, hey, I was just at the ball diamonds. they told a 9-year-old they couldn't play because our insurance said you had to be 10 or 12 to play. I said, what? So I spent 2 hours on computer researching this. It was totally bunk, but it predicated a lot of questions. So I called him back and I said, John, first of all, do you have hold harmless agreements with this rec league? You're letting them use the town fields. He's like, I don't know. I said, well, do you make them, you know, sign indemnification agreements that, because they have the firemen's league comes and plays baseball there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the guys are sucking on the keg all night playing baseball. He said, somebody gets beamed in the head, what's that gonna happen? They're gonna come back and sue you in your town. Well, why would that be? Well, do you have a hold harmless one? So this is why we are so actively involved in our clients coming to your board meetings, because it's gonna protect us to help protect you. Because if John's like, oh yeah, you know, I got 2 planks and I got a 10-foot ditch, and I'm thinking, oh my God, OSHA's all over this, you could have a catastrophic loss. Hey, I need to pull you offside to have a conversation and say, let's fix this, let's make sure you're covered. You know, the other big thing is like when you guys are bringing these contractors in, whoever's bidding on your service road work, do you guys get certificate of insurance naming you as an additional insured? And do you require them to carry at least a $5 million umbrella limit? Because when you're working on a road or a water line, a ditch caves in, $1 million, I've been a pipe fitter for 27 years. $1 million does not go far at all when a catastrophic failure happens. So that's why, you know, your town attorney or whoever you have should be looking at these and saying, hey, we need to be named a hold harmless on here. Hey, we need an indemnification agreement. You know, engineers are great. I project managed for a lot of years, worked a lot of engineering houses. They write great specs. They're to the T, they dot every I. You're getting that Neptune 5,000 meter, you better believe it's gonna be that Neptune 5,000 meter. But where the insurance is checked up front before you ever let them put a shovel in the ground. Because that's where you run into liability. And when I was a contractor, I've seen it. I was working with a well driller, guy come out, the kid was the first day on the rig. The kid said, oh, I hurt my back picking up one of the drill bits. The company I was working for never got the insurance service. 2 years later, the company I was with got wrapped up in this lawsuit for this kid that was there for 4 hours, ended up paying over $100 grand just to get out of it. They could all been avoided by, let me see your certificate of insurance, and are we named an additional insurance? So we're really big on educating guys like you and, you know, these boards and saying, hey, wait a minute, Joe's pool hall's coming out to put a boiler in. Where's his liability coverage? Do you get a certain name you guys an additional insurance? So when it comes to service, yes, because if we're not protecting you, first of all, you're only gonna be with us for a year, you're gonna leave. That's no good to either one of us. Second of all, you're gonna have exposures, and if you have exposures, that leaves us with exposures. I mean, we pride ourselves on trying to keep our clients with no losses or avoid any loss at all. So when we can, we do, and them are some of the ways that we do that. So your original point, yes, if Rose calls tomorrow and says, hey, I need you here with an ID card, you know, Dakota's in Conowingo and Leon every other day of the week. I'm in North Collins and Leon Lawton's every other day of the week, and we go everywhere in between. We come out to the board meetings out here in the southern tier. We stopped at the New Albion board meeting. We're gonna be working to quote them, so we're gonna be hanging out at their board meetings from now on. We're at the North Collins board meetings, so we like board meetings, and so yes, I mean, we pride ourselves on service. That's how we work.
God bless you.
All right.
And if you ever want, any questions?
I'm thoroughly impressed.
Thank you, we appreciate that. We had a lot of apprehension coming in, you know, we were fighting to find some information, but we got it all, and it all worked out well. And the other thing I would like to do is, once we do bind the policy, I already told John, heads up, I'm gonna come out and hound you for a couple minutes, and let's talk about your buildings, your tools, and your equipment, and get a good value to them. Let's go through, reassess, give you guys a total valuation. Hey, you know, that building over on Waverly Street, you gotta tag that 200K, is that realistic? If it fell down tomorrow, is that what you would put up again? What do you need? You know, and we don't believe in value engineering a policy. We believe in taking a policy and ensuring it to what you realistically need. Certain things you don't need $2 million on, other things you do. And we want to help you to make those decisions so that you're covered properly.
All right. So then, we just need a motion then for myself to sign the agreement with HCC with Mr. Ortiz for our new insurance program, or new insurance, is that it? Correct. Do I have a motion? Eric, do I have a second? Work. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. It's unanimous, carried and approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. We look forward to working.
Thank you guys.
Yes, we look
You
forward
put
to
in a
working
lot of
with you.
work and appreciate it.
We did, and we're gonna keep putting more in, and we can stay till afterwards or come back after your executive week, Sam. We can meet up with you tomorrow, because we know you guys renew on June 1, so we wanna get it done sooner rather than later.
So you'll just need to give her one that I can go ahead and sign, and I could stop in tomorrow, and then she could give it to you.
Or, you know, we can stop in tomorrow afternoon or something, or whatever she tells us is good for her, because we don't wanna bug Rose, because She's the backbone of the operation.
Yeah, she is.
We know she is.
That she is.
Give me a call sometime, I'd love to go over them buildings with you.
Perfect. Once we get, yeah, anytime after June 1, we'll go through and we can do them all, and we'll get them all done. We can do it prior to June 1 too. It depends on when you have time.
You call me, we'll make it.
Perfect. And you can actually keep, that's a clean copy he has right here, right? The 11 pages. Can I just check that for you? You can actually, excuse me.
Keep it as a couple extra, yeah, with the signature pages at the end, but we can get we'll give them a fresh copy without,
You want to drop a fresh copy in the morning to Rose?
I mean, you can keep that one.
Yeah,
We'll bring you
keep
one
that
to
one.
sign.
We'll bring one to Rose in the morning, and we'll leave it with Rose in a little envelope for you in the email.
Wonderful.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. All right, youth council.
Thank you for the work on you guys.
Thank you.
Likewise, drive safe.
Thank you.
Okay. Morton Jason. So regarding the youth council, I spoke with Melissa regarding it. She handed out the advertisement that she would like to give out for the summer swim lessons, and then a bus schedule. However, though, one is still to be determined for the village, and then also we need to know.
That says 3 days a week on there, right? No, other page. There, Wednesday, Tuesday,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday?
3 days.
Okay. So that's what she's going with, is 3 days.
Talk to her tonight.
I did, and she
Yeah.
said, it sounds like you guys have a long board meeting. I don't, I got a little one, I'm just gonna, said, yeah, we'll take care.
Well, I told her that too, because I talked to her. She told me a couple of issues she was running into.
So is it 3-day or 4-day?
Three.
3.
And then, she wanted to know about the lifeguards regarding, putting, I guess nobody showed any interest, so to post that we're hiring for lifeguards.
Okay, so there's not really money in the youth council budget for an advertisement, so that'll be village expense?
Well, there's one thing that I'm not sure how it came to this, but we pay for their training.
Lifeguard training?
Stacy started to pay for their training
You mean the
Brought
village
someone
does,
in.
not from the youth program?
from the youth program, Stacy had brought someone in to do the training for these individuals. And, I don't know when we got to that, how we got to that, I have no idea. But, I mean, there's money, that's part of the budget that we've had for several years, that I remember, I don't know, it was always an opportunity for someone to, have a summer job for the summer, and, well, of course, it was more, I guess it was more hours than that, but I don't know as if we should be paying for training, but.
Didn't she used to go through the Red Cross years ago?
There's a long story to that too, I can't remember
Yeah, Rick knows it.
what the story was there.
It would happen up at Ricola, I believe, right?
No, well, that may be part of it, but.
That was from, so regarding the lifeguards, I mean, she can't get anybody that wants to do it, I guess.
The ones from last year wanted to return?
From my understanding, she's reached out to them and nobody has shown interest in wanting to do it again.
I know one of the girls works over at Elliottville, so that's tough to compete with. She's actually a lifeguard over there, I think, in the summertime.
But usually not in the morning, it, you know,
Right.
that's why it kind of fits well for someone that has that training. I would say we post it, I mean, I don't know, we need to do
Kind of.
something
You have to, you don't have
to
to.
support it.
Right.
And try to make every attempt to have it come out of the
Youth budget?
Youth budget and not just
but,
general.
You might wanna contact Terry, cause we have a lifeguard down the pool, and we pay, I'm not sure who it is. I'm not sure if it's one person or if Terry has several people.
Do you know how many lifeguards we need to have for the program?
Depends on how many kids you have.
Right.
Last year she had
3,
3, and the year before I think she had 4.
we've had 4, I know before.
My son used to do it and there was never that many.
No? Or did they allow them to watch over more kids?
Pardon?
Or did they allow them to watch over more kids back then?
There was 2 of them that did it, back when he did it.
Do we know what days Low Valley does their swimming?
Aren't they open?
I don't know.
It's public pool, right? It's open.
They do lessons there too. Well, I know that Stacy has said in the past too, she has an extra one, because she was saying she had such big groups that she had an extra one basically to entertain the kids that weren't in the pool at the time and do things with, so I would hope we could get away from that.
So how many do we wanna put up that, I mean, we're taking applications then, I guess is what we would put up?
Maybe contact the school, start with school, or I can make a board meeting on that.
That was her other issue.
Feelers out there.
That was her other issue too, when I talked to her. I know Stacy's been putting the list out late. She actually wanted to talk to us, or, run it by us first, but she wants to send out the letter sooner and then have it returned. She says the past practice is that the kid shows up that day with his slip, and that's how they get a count. I mean, I think that we want it ahead of time. We would want something ahead of time, so we can get a count to see, okay, who's coming, who's not.
Well, they only,
And how many
liquor do we need and everything else.
Right. So.
So do we wanna hold off and have contact Little Valley, well, I guess.
I can talk to, I don't know if the principals are there tomorrow, but I can talk to them and put some feelers out there.
Okay, and then we can just discuss that more, I guess, on the 23rd for the work session. Because if we need to put up an ad for hiring for that, then we can go ahead and get that out.
We'll need to find out if the form should be returned like by mail to Melissa, because there's medical information on the forms. So I don't know if I would be allowed to collect the forms. I don't
How
know.
about you, or even somebody at the school, can they collect it? Since the school's the one that sends it out,
School nurse, maybe?
can they collect it?
Hospital.
It's just something to think about.
Right.
I know Jay indicated that possibly the release form should be rewritten. He talked about it last year, but due to how close we were to the start of the program, there really wasn't
Right.
time.
Right.
So that's something to think about, to possibly have that release form rewritten.
The other thing she asked me too, and I guess it doesn't make a lot of sense to me, is the letter that went out last year says that parents can bring their children and drop them off if they choose not to ride the bus, but the parent can't be on the grounds due to insurance. But they sign a waiver saying that, they're basically.
Well, they sign a waiver for the child,
But not for themselves.
Right.
so maybe that's the difference, is that
Right.
they've signed the waiver for the child. But yeah, I've seen that in the letter before, that the parents aren't only allowed inside the fenced area, I think. I've never been down there, so I don't.
That's always been.
Alright, so I guess then we'll just reconvene regarding that and you'll let us know if we need anything out. Alright. Oh, I see. How are you?
Yes, sir. Good.
Falling asleep?
Do you need me anywhere there?
I don't think so, sir.
Okay.
I think you're good to go and have yourself a great night.
Bye, Gene.
Have a good evening.
I'm probably on the mail right
Very quickly, numbers for the month. 5 D&T tickets, looks like we wrote, no parking tickets, no accidents, no violations, misdemeanors, felonies, or warrants. Or DWIs, looks like we had 6 special details, no criminal complaints, 8 non-criminal complaints, put 426 miles on the car. No ambulance assists, 1 assist of another department, 187 property checks. 426 miles on the car, that's right?
Yeah.
Okay, through several visits, both to Scott Street IO and Emerald and Ford, I believe our car is now all set. Replace stabilizer links and tie rod ends, got our line, and replace a water pump. under warranty at Emily. So all that's left to do would be put the summer tires on it and keep going. And I have one person for consideration to hire, Ray Campbell, lives right here in the village, actually right in the apartment above, the hairdressers. He graduated from, Jamestown Community College's Sheriff's Academy, in St. Bonaventure. He is currently a commissioned second lieutenant in the National Guard. And he is all set as far as all of his qualifications. He's phase 2 certified, he's ready to go from right in the car.
Wow. Does anybody know Rick Gable?
You work for us over the summer? No? I think there's somebody else.
He used to live over in Napoleon,
Okay.
and I also know, he's here.
Does he work for anybody else?
Works for West Valley, in security, but I don't think, since the sheriff's department had a bunch of layoffs, he was kind of one of them that lost out on any
Yeah.
hours there, lost on the
Sure.
total for, so.
Right.
But this would help him keep his certification,
Sure.
'cause you gotta work within so many months, or, and you don't want him to waste all that time and money, so.
Might be around during the day.
Might be around during the day.
That would be nice.
I've implemented a few, I think I sent you the schedule, I think I've got 3 or 4 day shifts during the week, when you can get them.
Just a personal opinion, I'd really like it if somebody could sit at the corner of, Jefferson and Leavenworth, because about the next person who pulls out in front of me, they're going to work with me, I've had it.
Or sit over in your shop and watch.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
It's thoroughly ridiculous. Everybody thinks, Friday, twice. I come to work in the morning, I come up around the corner, 20 miles an hour. I get right to the intersection and, oh, well, you're not going to school. And when I come through the village truck, everybody thinks that that road does not exist the other side and everybody's going to school. Somebody's gonna have a good crash there. Like I said, I'm about ready to take some paperwork to someone and say, let's go. We got you.
Alright, so then, you said it's Ray Campbell? Alright, so I need a motion then to hire Ray Campbell as a part-time police officer.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Jason made a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Eric second?
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry, Jason made the motion?
Yeah.
And Eric seconded?
Yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Part-time police officer at the new, well, he's starting, do you have a start date?
You could start
pay rate?
whenever.
Start,
He's out of a job now, so.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess you wanna start the next when's the next payroll, what's convenient for you?
Monday would start the new pay period.
Monday?
Monday the 16th.
So say, starting Monday the 16th, sound good?
Perfect.
Gives him time, and if you wanna add him to the schedule, or roster, or cover, whatever.
I think
and
I'd
so
give him a
that,
couple of Sundays,
16th.
and, get him at least 2 days in car training with Chris and I, and then, cut him.
Alright, so that motion was, unanimous, carried and approved.
Okay, 5 ayes. Pay rate. So he would make the current pay rate along with the other guys. Will he get a raise June 1st?
You would get paid what the other deputies are.
So pay, okay.
All officers are paid the same except the OIC. And then, can you, update the board? You and I met with, Mr. Pratt.
Yeah.
Regarding the firemen's convention.
Yes. What exactly, what are you looking for an update?
Let's see here, so we met with him, the convention is from August 3rd to the 6th. They are expecting over 1,000 people on Friday and Saturday, just like last time. They're saying shut-offs at 11 as far as the partying, so they're supposed to be keeping it, you laugh.
11?
That's what they say. That's what they say. I know it's different than what it truly is, and let you know, but that's what they say. We will have 24-hour coverage for Friday and Saturday. The smaller parade is on Friday at 7 p.m. The main parade is on Saturday, the 6th, at 3 p.m. And that's where they're having the big parade. And then, did you get a hold of the undersheriff to see if we'll be able to have assistance with